Salut YouTube!
Salut YouTube!
Oh, that's a nicer accent than mine. I have Marine with me today.
I'm a French teacher in Paris and I also give lessons on Skype and I do some workshop also here in Paris.
You do like French slang workshops and...
Exactly, and experiences.
So
now I do like cooking workshop and we go to museum and we visit and we meet Parisians. It's very cool. I really believe in experience when you learn a language.
Yeah, exactly. We wanted to do a video today on something that we're both quite interested in and passionate about, especially Marine, who's done a lot of study on this topic, which is around how learning and speaking a second language can really impact you. It can impact you as a person and it can impact your whole perspective on life. There are a lot of benefits, there are a lot of things that maybe change you in ways that you weren't expecting, and that's what we want to talk about today. So I'll do it obviously from a learner perspective, someone who's trying to master a second language, and then Marine, she has all of her experience from the hundreds of students you've seen.
Yes, and me
and
also
yourself. Yeah,
as
that's
a learner.
true.
I lived in Germany, England and Spain, and I speak these three languages, so
yeah,
I have some experiences.
Yeah, exactly. So the first point we wanted to touch on is that by learning a second language, you can discover a whole new side of yourself, whether that be mood, whether that be a personality trait you didn't have access to when you had the limitations of your native language.
The language allows you to express things you maybe not allowed that much in your own language.
Yeah.
Like in French, for example, I guess there is things you, I don't know, do more or experience more that you don't do in your own language.
Definitely. I can definitely say that in French that I'm a little bit more confident and assertive as a person, thanks to the fact that in French, the language gives you a lot of opportunities to kind of express your convictions, to stick up for yourself, to be assertive, to give your opinion without being rude. In the workplace, I can really fight and defend an idea. I can say that I absolutely don't agree with my boss, and I've got all of these options in the language that aren't offensive at all.
Yeah, and also we love giving our opinion.
Yeah,
you know.
Exactly. So by speaking French, I've been able to exercise that muscle of my brain a lot more than I would have.
You know, when you learn a new language and you realize that it's a culture, it's a way of living, and that you have a lot of way to say something related to an emotion that allows you to feel this emotion. Like, for example, I was in Spain for years, and people are very relaxed there, and all is very relaxed, and so I was so relaxed. And also because maybe the language of Spanish is a bit more open and more relaxed in the jaws than French, all my body was so relaxed, and I don't know, it was, I think there is a link with the body, really, and the...
I've noticed that I've grown new emotions that didn't previously exist. For me, there's something around the attachment with the ritual of enjoying food, for example. Being surrounded by French people, you hear a lot, oh, c'est bon, and talking about the food, and and you're eating a nice meal and they'll be like, oh, just last week I had the most sublime meal, and they'll tell you a whole story about the meal that they had eaten, and at first when you're learning a language, you're imitating people and you're doing the same. So I'm saying, oui, c'est bon, and stuff, but then you really start to feel it. And then you really start to appreciate new food and enjoy the ritual and have this comfort that comes from a nice meal. And now it's part of an emotion that I enjoy experiencing around food. And so now when I go home and I'm speaking in my native language, I'm like, it's so good. Oh God, it's good. It's so good.
New emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely. And so at first, the language was just a mechanism, and then it brought the feeling to it.
One thing that is really hard when you begin a new language, and I know that because I have people coming to my classes, they are 40, they are really successful person, or 60, and they have like all their life like full of success, and they want to learn French and they're like babies. Again. So really learning a language make you modest.
Exactly. Definitely, nothing cuts an ego in half as fast as learning a second language. When I'm at work, I'm like, oh, I don't want to speak French because I lose my power, I lose my influence, I lose my, or even personally, you feel like you lose your wittiness, your your charm, your funniness, whatever it may be, and you at the start it's really hard and you feel silly and you make so many mistakes and you feel a bit embarrassed and all of these kinds of things, there's nothing that makes you feel though so modest, because you're like, it brings you way back down to earth. You're like, I'm a person that's still got a lot to learn, a long way to go. And then you have so much more empathy. Whenever I see someone speaking in a second or third language, I'm like, oh, praise to you. Because honestly, and it breaks my heart when I have French people that are like, oh, I'm sorry for my accent. I'm like, are you kidding me? You speak a second language like you're a boss.
Yeah. If you're learning right now, you're adult.
Yeah.
And you decided to learn a second language, bravo.
Bravo.
And keep going.
Yeah.
And really like, don't, and please make mistakes.
Yeah.
Speak. And everybody is capable, is able to learn. Like, I promise. For example, my boyfriend is from Macedonia, so I need and I want to learn Macedonian, which is it's a very tiny country and there is no methods, like no CD or MP3, nothing. So I'm learning speaking with, you know, everybody. And it's a different alphabet, it's Cyrillic. So I need to learn a different alphabet. Wow. And obviously it's like back to preschool. And what did I do? I learned how to write Marine.
It's normal that you feel a little bit like a child, but there's also a beauty in that as well, because
there is a beauty, definitely.
Yeah. Which leads us actually to our next point.
Yes.
Which is around the fact that something that's kind of unexpected about learning a second language is that without even trying, you can actually become very funny, very cute. It can be because you make mistakes, for example, and it makes people laugh, but in a nice way, you know, or it can be because you translate things literally from your base language to your new language and it sounds ridiculous, or it doesn't, you know, it doesn't work or whatever. So I was trying to conjugate the verb croire, like believe, and I said for the plural, ils croivent. And apparently this is like a classic mistake that French children make. And my mother-in-law and boyfriend were like, oh, so cute. And I'm like, oh. It shouldn't be shameful or embarrassing or painful to make mistakes. It's funny because the things that you think that may be mistakes can actually like really make people laugh and be really charming, and people are just so appreciative of you even trying. So another example I had in mind, it's a real advantage about learning a second language is that you connect with so many people in a new language and you've got no way of classifying these people or judging them. I mean, concretely, when you're speaking in your native language, you can identify and stereotype people based on their accent. If you think about England, for example, the people in England, when they're speaking English, they can instantly say what part of the country you're from, what your social class is, what your kind of background is.
You kind of categorize.
You can, yeah, you can. I'm speaking to people in French. I've got no idea where they're from, no idea, you know anything about them, and you're just connecting human to human, and it's amazing the advantages that this can have, like the people you can meet, the empathy you can build. You're more open-minded.
Yeah, it's a kind of new freedom also.
Yeah.
This naivety, you know, it's not being naive, but in a way, and you don't,
At the same time, because you know, you don't fit into any of their categories.
This is true. You're the foreigner.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's it.
The token foreigner. Our last point is around how appreciative you become of your own language, your own culture, and how curious you become about it. I mean, why in English, why do we say it's raining cats and dogs? Where does that come from? What's the story?
This is true. Everybody that learns a new language get interested in languages and in linguistic. I remember what you're saying. In French we say je suis en train de, which is literally I'm in the train of, to say I am doing something, I am in a process. And then you realize, oh really, like this is so fun, you know, I'm in a train. When I studied Spanish, it was like my third language at school, and I realized that to say coward, you say cobarde, and then I thought, oh yeah, but in French we have this word like croire. Oh, they're all related. It's the same word. They're just like, and so you make connection. You're like, oh, we're not that far away from each other.
It's true.
You know?
Yeah.
We have some like friends.
There's
so much more to tell, but
so much more.
You know.
But I think you guys have at least gotten a few insights into how unexpected some of the ways that learning a second language can kind of change you, make you think about things differently. It's something money can't buy.
You multiply yourself.
Yeah. It's hard work, but the connections you can make, the open-mindedness, learning curve.
The people you meet, you will never meet if you don't speak the language.
Exactly. And studies have actually shown that it grows new parts of your brain.
Yeah, you make new connections.
You make new connections. It changes your life, really.
Yeah,
it opens
changes your life.
We
are both with foreigners, actually.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, let's not even get into how that could change our lives.
We're going to make the world really, like, you know.
Yeah. Cool. So thanks so much, guys, for watching. If you have learned a second language, or if you're dreaming of learning a second language and everything that can give you, let us know down below. Which language are you learning? What have you experienced so far? What have you learned from learning a second language? What has it given you that you would have never expected? Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Rosie.
And we'll see you guys next time. A bientôt!
À bientôt!